once more, scene is set for Perth, where continuing at the Prince holding court in his bookstore, the arrangement of which I put in told in the previous video. So right at the moment, Leon's sitting there, and Stacy is letting people in as they come to the store.
You will see a face of the Victor Creed will show up in the store. He will check the books. He will just check the books in the occult shop first, and then the ghoul will probably do what she has told to, and Victor will sit in the table that you.
Yeah. Actually, right now, basically, the only people in here are Leon, the ghoul, and anyone else who's shown up.
Okay, then.
So she'll let him in when he comes to the door, and then Leon will be like, Mr. Creed, seems circumstances have changed a bit since we talked last.
Yes, my prince.
So, as such, I'm as prince. I probably shouldn't be wandering off and investigating every little thing that interests me. However, if you're still interested in investigating them, well, I can probably give you some useful rewards for doing so.
That is nice. I am still interested in the context that we have talked about.
Well, as far as let's see here, as that goes, it's definitely a consideration, but I've got a bunch of positions that I've got to fill because of all the court positions that my predecessor had filled, the only one that remains filled, to my knowledge, is that of sheriff. So I've got to find a scourge, a keeper of Elysium, start finding some people who are willing to be harpies, since they're all dead.
They're all dead?
Yeah.
I wasn't in the city. I was in the city, but I didn't speak with lots of persons. So please, can you tell me what happened in the city, my prince?
Well, the previous mistress of harpies and keeper of Elysium apparently diablerized both the harpies. And and last night she met final death.
Do we know the reason?
As I understand, it was an accident of sorts, but she diablerized both of them.
Amaranth is something Camerla doesn't forgive.
No,
This should be, of course.
And we've had a few issues with that in the city, so at this point, pretty much putting something close to a zero tolerance policy on it. Something that out of character note, Rafat is also still here. He's been.
Okay. He nodded at Rafat. Yeah. He said him the first time. So I do hope that I am still welcome in the city.
Oh yes, absolutely. At the very least, I'm giving everyone who I haven't met for one reason or another a month to to be introduced to me. So yeah, that was, and then yeah, yesterday we had the Primogen Council meeting, and the previous prince was called off to go battle this about another city. Apparently, so was another of the Tremere Musketeers, and so.
And the Trembling Wombats.
Yeah, no, they're all gone. As I understand it, the Gaki has met final death, which.
What will happen to their domain? Their domain had a lot of interesting things.
Well, their domain currently lies unclaimed. We'll work it out. I may be starting to parcel out certain other areas as domain as more people come in. I'm expecting the, well, somewhat constant trickle of new people coming in. And as I understand it, we have a new coterie that showed up and presented themselves to the Archon yesterday.
A new coterie?
It seems that the mention of a new coterie just outside, actually a few blocks down from the Third Eye bookstore, there is one, let's just call him Dr. Doolittle, who is currently petting a scruffy dog by his side, escorting one Miss Fix-It. Purely cute nicknames. Dr. Doolittle knows for a fact that as soon as Fix-It sees the storefront, the address they're going to, she will positively freak out. He hasn't told her much, just simply that they should present themselves to the prince at this address. He had previously looked over and knew for a fact that this was going to be rather exciting for the Tremere unit, at which point he just says, okay. He sort of reluctantly walks every step of the way with his K-Knight companion at his side. There's the address, Fix-It.
Fix-It looks up from her book, and she's like, first, you can see that she actually has a popsicle in her mouth while she's reading through the book. Yeah. So, what is this, Prince? She's not yet looking up to the actual place. She's skipping through her book while she sucks on her popsicle. What's this Prince doing? What is he? Is he okay?
Dr. Doolittle simply goes ahead and plucks the ice popsicle from her lips and says, "Hey, attention. This is serious business."
At that point, she lowers her book and looks at Dr. Doolittle. Come on! It's just a popsicle.
Finish it. Then we're walking inside.
Yeah, done. And now she actually looks at the front of the store, and her eyes just pop wide, and she just drops the book on the ground. It's a book about science and chemistry and stuff like that. And she just, oh my God, you're taking me out! Oh, you gotta be kidding me! And she just runs into that bookstore and just looks around.
As you come up, the door's actually locked.
Book. I want to get in. I want to get in. Can we get in?
Fix it. Just calm yourself. We don't want to rush. Please.
Leon takes a moment and 1 second here. I'm going to actually roll for aura perception. And I'm assuming that you have a dark colored aura. You don't have like deceptive aura or anything like that.
No.
Okay, so it's like looks and it's like, huh, and he just turns to Stacy and nods, and she opens the door for.
It's like a speed wagon. She just jumps inside to the books and she just literally ignores each and everything around her. She just checks out. It's like, oh my god, I still have to read that one. Gets it out of the shelves and just throws to it, and then sees another one. Oh my god, and that one too. And oh my god, and oh, Dr. Doolittle, can I just have these three? Oh, and maybe that one, and that
Dr.
one.
Doolittle at this point is not saying a damn word.
And this one, and within no time she has like 6 books or so. This is pile, and she just looks around, wondering why he isn't saying anything. What?
He just goes ahead, leans into her, and whispers very, very softly, "This is the prince's domain. Please compose yourself."
At that point, she just drops the book. She's like, oh my god, oh, I'm so sorry, oh shit. And she just looks at the books that she drops and she picks them up, puts them on the table, and it's just silent.
Leon, actually, at this point, is just pretty much, smiling and goes, I assume that you are you're either the new coterie I heard about last night, or someone else I haven't met yet. And presumably at this point, Rafat will do a very brief introduction, since, Kevin is having issues.
Right. I assume the introduction pretty much goes, "This is Miss Felicity Kennett."
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
Rafat doesn't. I don't think he would bother correcting himself.
No,
He
it
would
wouldn't.
say, "Premier Munich," and this happens to be her coterie mate, a Mr. Adder Blackwell, Gangrel.
Felicity is actually standing behind Mr. Adder Blackwell, or Dr. Doolittle. She's just standing behind him. It's like,
You'll notice that there is no title beyond, Blackwell's name.
Yep. It's like, well, if, he kind of looks at Felicity, who's hiding, is like, you realize I don't make a habit of biting kindred, right?
She doesn't say anything, and Adder can actually feel her trembling a little behind his back.
And he turns to Adder's like, is she often like this?
I find that she sees authority rather awe-inspiring.
I see. Well, for the moment, and you were Mr. Blackwell?
Yes, if you would allow me to speak for my compatriot here.
Well, it seems at the moment she cannot do it for herself.
Very well. We are indeed the coterie you have heard about. We name ourselves the Grasshoppers, and with your permission, we would like to set up our own domain within your domain, my dear prince.
Yes, I believe you offered the Archon a boon for this, and he has transferred that boon to me. And yes, if you're welcome here in the domain, I believe there's a third member. I'm guessing he's not here at the moment.
Yes, Tommy should be able to present himself to you at his earliest convenience. It is unfortunate that coterie business took him away this evening. As far as our own stomping grounds in your dear city, we seem to have been attracted by the swamplands and woodlands around the Perth airport, particularly Mundy Swamp.
Well, that seems a reasonable area of domain to have, so I look forward to seeing what you do with it.
Thank you very much, my dear prince.
Oh, well, now that I've seen you, is there any other business you'd like to bring up?
I believe Felicity here was very interested in the books that she acquired from the shelves.
Well, if
No, no, no,
he,
no,
he,
no,
he,
no, no,
yeah,
no.
he
Let it
looks
go.
over
Let it
there,
go.
like,
Let it go.
oh, if you and he looks over them and is like, those books. Well, you know what? If you want, you can consider those books a gift to welcome you to Perth.
Thank you very, very much, my dear prince. And Dr. Doolittle will go ahead and step away from Fix-It and just start gathering the books as he is expected to do. And once he has gathered the books up and put them all into a neat stack, simply hands it over. Actually, he will actually carry it for Miss Fix-It.
And when the store goes back to regular operating, you can come by to buy something anytime you'd like.
Thank you.
Voices can be heard at the front gate, and jubilation. Well, Tracy, it has been an pleasure to see you again. How are you keeping, my dear? I'm just here to see you. Don't worry, I know the way.
Like, okay, good.
Leon, he says, bursting into the room. How do you do? It's been a while. I have not been able to find Miss Grace at all, nor Mr. Asher. This is quite a debacle. I say, when are we going to get a proper heart there? Well, I can actually concentrate. I'll go to the prince and I'll say, sir. Mr. Prince, sir, my lord, we need a harper so we can actually get all this information going from to and fro. God damn it, I don't know what the hell's going on in this goddamn city.
You missed. Well, let me bring you up to date on recent events, James. We have a new prince. That would be me.
Well, I'm sorry, Leon. I didn't quite catch that.
Apparently, Mr. Lavoisier was called away to fight the Sabbat on another front. As I understand it, he and Musketeers both went off to fight in that battle. At the Primogen Council meeting last night, I was elected prince.
My word, I'll let you go to one Primogen Council meeting and you're already prince. I already knew you had ambition, sir, and certainly a golden lad. It is good to see your ascension into such lofty heights so damn quickly. You better start redoing the glass ceiling, because you're going to be rocketing through that.
Well, I don't have my eyes on becoming just a car just yet, but...
Well, hell, this time next month you'll be a member of the Inner Circle. Mark my words. But I apologize for my abruptness, my princey Leon, Sir Lord MacLeod. It appears that you have guests.
New coterie that has come to town that were officially introducing themselves to me. This is Felicity Tennant and Adder Blackwell.
Fix it.
Wow, it is a pleasure to meet you all. Well, you're so peachy keen. Straight off the boat, are we?
Blackwell says nothing.
Well,
I said you straight off the boat, boy. He says, smiling, leaning in.
Adder Blackwell is a little bit unnerved at this smiling presence as he simply says, not off the boat per se, but I've been traveling for quite a while on this side of the continent.
Well, it is a pleasure to meet you, Mr. Blackwell. Absolute delight. Well,
Well,
apologies, we should not take up the prince's time. My Prince Harris, congratulations, I suppose, are in order.
yes. And I guess this puts you back to being Primogen.
Oh, but who am I primogene of, my prince?
There is one other Malkavian in the city, but he's been fairly quiet of late.
Does this mean that you will be too busy to visit old James now and again?
Oh, please, we'll still have time to go watch the stars on a park bench from time to time. But that said, what you said does make a very, oh, and I don't suppose you haven't heard all of the news about what happened with the harpies either.
Yeah, what happened with Mr. Asher? You said you were going to contact him at his haven.
Well, I couldn't, and as it turned out, that's because he was dead. In fact, both harpies were apparently diablerized by Miss Martin, who was then staked by her grandchild.
One moment, Leon. I'm just going to roll my self-control.
Stepping away.
Uh-oh. Dr. Little?
Dr. Doolittle is stepping away and keeping Fix-It behind his back.
Oh, God.
James spend a willpower, so he's fine.
Okay.
For the moment, for this turn. But he just seems to freeze like a statue, the smile fixed, his eyes glared. And I'll quickly roll and see if I can compose myself. I'm feeling much better. I hope that Miss Grace has received either fitting punishment or perhaps waiting my administrations for rehabilitation in our society.
Given certain problems we've had with Diablerists in the city, by my order last night, she received final death.
Well, that is a shame, Miss Grace.
No.
Deserved a proper send-off for the destruction of our kinsman.
She looked quite innocent by outside, actually. There was a man on the table that you didn't actually say anything, and he looks quite surprised that you haven't told him anything. Or Prince didn't do anything to introduce him to anybody in the room. So he just looks and says, she was quite innocent. At least she looked quite innocent.
Oh, she definitely did it, and she also definitely she felt genuine remorse, and it is for that reason that I granted her a merciful death. There were other options that involved less merciful deaths.
About your great judgment, Leon. The one who stains their soul and dirties himself with such vile crime as Amarath deserves very little in the way of mercy in which you have shown. But I bow to your superior wisdom.
Well, in any case, yes, setting up of new harpies is definitely something that is on my list of things to do, along with find a new keeper of Elysium, appoint various other positions, including a seneschal. So,
you have quite a lot on your plate, I can understand.
I do. And
anything you need help with, you come to James. I'll help you like I've helped you since day one, boy.
Will do. We'll be having another Primogen meeting in about where we can where we'll discuss some of the details. So, oh yes, so for each turns is like so. James, I don't think you've met everyone here. Well, I've introduced you to Miss Tennant and Mr. Blackwell. There's also Mr. Donovan and Mr. Creed.
We have met Mr. Creed together at the park.
That's right.
Well met to you all. I hope that you will all come to my establishment at Granny's so we can partake in a wonderful afternoon tea.
Oh, I can make merengues and cakes, and we can make more popsicles, Doctor. Oh, sorry.
I like her, Leon. Can I keep her?
I don't know. She seems rather shy of authority figures. I believe he's technically spoken for by the Tremere.
James will just smile sweetly.
And to disrupt the very awkward silence, there's a knock on the door with Creel giving the door knob a test.
And, Leon looks over, nods at Stacy. Stacy lets him in.
I see we have a big gathering today.
We do. Good to see you again, Mr. Creel.
Pleasure to make your acquaintance. To see it again, my prince. I thought I'd drop by and make the first down payment, but I guess that'll have to wait for a few moments.
Well, no, if you want to, we, like I said, actually, he turns around to someone behind him that most of you probably didn't notice up until he turned around and says, Liv, can you go get Mr. Creel's books from the stockroom? And suddenly a sort of Eastern European looking man, that suddenly, we'll not roll for it. Suddenly you all realize was pretty much just standing behind him the whole time. He nods and heads on off into a back room. It's like, if you've got your first payment, I've got, like I said, most of a good chunk of the books in.
Grill actually hands over an envelope. Yes, a first payment, and I understand small shop owners occasionally prefer cash.
Stacy, opens it up, quickly counts it, and then
500.
Yep. And then and then she heads off towards a different back room. It's like, cash is nice, but I've honestly been doing my best to keep up a certain amount of pretense of being one of the kind when dealing with their governments here.
Well, I had it ready just in case your bookkeeping needed the help.
No, and hey, I do appreciate that. And there's books and there's books.
Yes, there is.
But yeah. No, I figure once we've got a permanent Elysium, I'll probably end up holding official courts there. But until such time as we have that, and since we've got a couple of people that will no doubt be tripping me in, I'll just use this as my court for the time being.
Well, you could use the coterie location of trench, maybe.
No, and Rafat has suggested that, and I might do a couple things over in the trench, and I'm sure Rafat will happily do some business during that.
I'm sure he will. Let's see. Mr. Beers, good to see you again.
James seems quite fixated on Mr. Creed. He dumbly sort of smiles and nods in emotion, but he's starting to wring his hands.
Leon at this point looks actually mildly distracted, not looking directly at Blackwell and Tennant, but sort of looking around them. And then, he turns to Blackwell. Is like, you wouldn't happen to have a case of unwelcome visitors, would you?
Oh, at this, Blackwell just kind of looks bemused and says, I'm sorry, Prince. I thought we were condoned into
No,
this
no, no, no,
domain.
no, no. You're fine. I'm saying if you yourself tend to have unwelcome visitors at time that you can't seem to get rid of.
The sort of visitors that cannot be observed very well?
Not by most. And he's still not looking directly at him, but looking sort of around him.
Okay, at this point, Isvan will kind of just walk in.
Well, he'll actually, Istvan will, the door's actually locked. There's a ghoul is sitting at it, and she'll look back towards Leon. Leon will look out, and let's see here. I very quickly double check Istvan's aura. Wow, that's a lot of successes.
Oh, God.
So at the very least, I'm assuming you don't have deceptive aura or anything like that.
Nope.
You don't have diablerie veins.
Nope.
Okay. Otherwise, he technically does get stuff like your emotional state and all that stuff, but he doesn't actually so much care about that at the moment. So he just nods to Stacy, who lets him in.
Isvan will walk in, and he has kind of a little smirk to his face and waves at everyone. Oh, hello.
Oh, Istvan, good to see you. Let me make the new introductions for you. New prince, same old Georgia. Istvan, Leon Harris, our new prince. Istvan, one of the Georgia.
You good? I guess it's okay to have a new prince. Yeah, cool.
So I believe you were already acknowledged by the previous prince.
I mean, he said I could stay here, but I'm, still a fledgling, I guess, or whatever.
Well, no doubt you can, with the help of Mr. Creel here, overcome that.
He kind of shrugs passively.
Mr. Harris, I'm not certain if you're aware, but he did participate in the hunt for the Autarkis, as it was at the moment. Correct?
And how well did he acquit himself?
I think the sheriff was willing to talk in his favor at the first introduction.
Well, in that case, since you have done that well, and
if my recommendation might carry any weight, he has stayed out of trouble a lot better than I have.
Well, with two such endorsements, I believe I can recognize his status as a hero.
Oh, thanks. That's cool.
So, so in that case, if you have any questions or concerns that you feel you need to bring before me, go ahead and do so.
I think there are some ghouls lurking somewhere, and I'm going to kill them.
What kind of ghouls?
See, there were the ghouls of the anarchs that were here, and they have not all been eradicated, I don't think. So they have either found someone to drink from, or they're hungry and will be prowling. Also, I'm not sure if Gangrel's war or the Zemisi, whatever that thing was, is war dogs are all gone. So I have things I want to look into.
Well, in that case, I would recommend you at least coordinate that with the sheriff. But no, if you're wanting to look into those things, considering that I poked my nose into all sorts of things while I was not even a primogen, go ahead.
Yeah, okay, I'll tell you if I found anything.
I'd appreciate that.
I try not to kill all of them. You can question.
And then, he again looks somewhat distracted and back towards Blackwell and Tennant, and is like, "Does that thing ever shut up?"
This Blackwell just looks very, very confused at you. He has deer in the headlight syndrome at the moment.
And he just goes, "The ghost that seems to be following the two of you, does it ever shut up?"
I did not realize, my dear prince, that it was such an obvious ailment, nor did I realize that it would offend you so much.
It's not obvious to most. I am, however, of a clan noted for its insight. And among other things, I've been aware of ghosts' reality for quite some time.
I don't like ghosts, I can't punch them.
Very well. In upcoming meetings with you, my dear prince, I'll make efforts and pains to placate the spirit.
Well, depending on how certain other discussions may happen, you may be able to talk to certain individuals about possibly dealing with it. Although, good question as to how much they can actually do. But sorry, I just got a bit distracted by your, as I called it earlier, unwelcome visitor. And
Well, we can leave. We go. Bye. And she just runs off.
it's like,
If I may, my prince, perhaps what their differently alive guest needs is some counseling to get over his imminent condition. I would be happy to volunteer my services for these young people.
Can you actually hear ghosts, James?
Well, I'm sure that Mr. Adder will be a wonderful conduit. Nothing like speaking your mind to be able to put a soul at ease.
Well, that I will leave between yourself and them.
At that
Very
point, Felicity actually running back in, grabbing the books, running out again.
Unfortunately, I must take my leave at the moment. If you would be so kind to dismiss us, my dear prince.
Of course, here we go.
Mr. Pierce, I would love to make your acquaintance on and Blackwell is holding his ear just for a moment. Yes, I would love to make your acquaintance on a much more familiar basis, but I must take my leave. Can I leave my contact information with you?
Don't worry, I have it. You're like an open book to me, Mr. Adder.
At this, he just sort of looks at this smiling kindred and simply nods in understanding. Yes, sir, Mr. Pierce. At which moment, having taken leave by the prince, proceeds to walk out and chase after his already running coterie mate.
Creel looks after the two for a long moment and goes, "Well, that's a fidgety bunch of people."
Can't wait to meet their third member. And I thought, well, at the very least, we'll continue to have a number of whimsical members of the city.
Please tell me none of them is a Perugia.
As I understand it, one Tremere and two Gangrel.
Yes. I'll have 5 East ones if I can, please.
Well,
I meant it when I said you've stayed out of you've stayed better out of trouble than me.
yes. Well, in any case, hope that at some point we may have more Bruja coming in. As so far with that, hopefully some more at least of your caliber, Mr. Creel, if not necessarily of your particular inclinations.
Hopefully someone to go, young man, why don't you step aside for a few moments and let your elders show how this politicking thing is done. I can go, thank you, sir. Yes, sir. Gladly, sir. And mean every word of it.
Well, I'll admit it's been a interesting last couple days, and the next couple weeks look to be just as interesting. Just at points like these, I am glad that I'm not Chinese. I've always taken interesting times as a blessing, not a curse.
I don't understand. What's wrong with Asian?
Nothing. There's a Chinese curse that says, "May you live in interesting times."
Oh.
I
I
don't-
haven't found any Asian curses to be effective.
Well, depends on what you're going to define as a curse.
Well,
Actually, we did have one Asian curse that was very effective.
oh yes?
Yes, until he met final death.
Who's that?
Oh, that was the Gaki.
Oh.
But, in any case, he's gone and no longer a worry. And, well, if there's no other business we've got to deal with.
not at all. My thanks.
And at this point, Lev comes out with pretty much like a case of books. He's doesn't seem to be having any particular problems carrying it. Like, and here's the first section of books.
Opens the bag and goes, gimme.
And Lev actually, he was sort of shorter and Eastern European looking, just like hands the whole box. Like, here.
Thank you. I'll take my leave now, unless there is something of interest to you.
Well, there's always something interesting, but nothing pertinent at the moment.
Nothing immediate, I'll take.
Nothing immediate.
Mr. Creel, if you would be Mr. Creed, rather, would you be so kind? Perhaps we can discuss a trifling matter upon your earliest convenience.
I will be happy to do that. Creed? No. It is Creel, Marcus Creel.
There's a gangle,
I-
but I'm assuming he stepped out since he vanished. Since
uh,
Medican left. It's like, there's a gangle by the name of Creed. No doubt we'll have a number of amusing confusions there.
maybe if I'll be bold enough to suggest that, I'd be referred to as Marcus, and we'll leave the Mr. Creed to have the D at the end of his name.
Well, that is absolutely fantastic. Please call me Jimmy.
Oh, pleasure to make your acquaintance, Jimmy. And yes, I'll be happy to have that chat with you as soon as I get these books sorted out.
And with that, we will end scene.